Welcome to the Good Girls podcast. Just two hot moms talking about literally anything but being a mom, having a hot mom summer, doing our hot girl reading, sort of. I was trying, Kay, to do my hot girl reading. I couldn't take any of these books seriously. I really just am trying to
summer
commit to
reading
the smut,
is kind of like a dark place. Because
I
any
honestly feel
serious
like
good book is going to come out over fall.
Yeah. And I think that we should be getting something other than a personal pan pizza for what we've been reading. I mean, maybe just like a bottle of lube, because this has all just been trash. Actually, I have been reading some excellent books this summer, but they're not Good Girls podcast level of books, so I won't discuss them here. But there have been some great books for me to read, and they are not smutty, unfortunately. There are great smutty books. I haven't read any of them this summer. So why don't you start?
I'm going to start off with Liv Zander's Crown Me Dead and Crown Me Yours. So those of you who have the pleasure of not being familiar with Liv Zander's books is that she is extremely dark. Like, I never wanted to touch another Liv Zander book again after reading Feathers So Vicious, even though she did have an extremely hot threesome with raven shifters.
Yeah, sorry, I do remember you discussing threesomes and raven shifters, but brief synopsis of that one, just for people who haven't been recently binging the pod.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Is that really all we need to know? Is it's a threesome with raven shifters?
A woman who does not know that she herself is a raven shifter and her dad's the king goes to live with a raven shifter lord of sorts. And he starts off extremely violent to her, like carves something into her chest. But then they end up having some hot sex that includes him fingering, or I don't know, stabbing like a knife into her vagina, but she likes it. And then another guy comes in and they all sleep together. Yeah, and then it turns out she's a white raven. And then it turns out that her dad, this was where it got way too dark for me. Her dad used to sexually abuse the guy, and that was one of the reasons why he was initially violent and why he has like a weird thing with anal play. And I was just like, this is not a turn that I expected in a Raven Shifter book. Even though I do like her writing style. That's my problem. It's like, I like her writing style. She's really good at building characters. Her sex scenes are really hot. They're just so violent and so dark.
Yeah, that's a little too much for me. I am intrigued about the part how she is a raven and she didn't know it, though. But I wonder if, like, I'm having hot girl tummy troubles, if that's really just like I'm actually a raven and I'm eating the wrong foods because I didn't know.
You might turn into a white raven at any time. Now's your inner raven's
might
calling.
just explain some of the unexplained health issues that I have. I really like that as an explanation over, like, I should not be eating cheese.
Well, apparently, like, a cool thing with ravens is that, like, the guys all fight for the woman and the woman gets to make the choice, which is why it made sense that there was, like, two guys fighting over the woman. They didn't really care who she had sex with as long as she was pleasured. There was a lot going on. So
I feel like ravens don't care about female pleasure, only about procreation, but I could be wrong after learning about what was the animals that were pleasuring themselves on trees that we learned about, horny animals. That was a previous episode.
The fruit bats?
Oh, fruit bats, yes.
Yes.
So, I don't know. Maybe she's a fruit bat.
I started seeing all this stuff in Reddit and my dear forums about Crown Me Dead and Crown Me Yours by Liv Zander. And everybody was like, I can't believe that this is the same writer as Feathers So Vicious. This was so beautiful. It had me in tears. Such a beautiful romance story. And I read it enough that I was like, you know what? It's on Kindle Unlimited. Might as well download. Okay. It started off a little gross, but fine. Like, they live in a kingdom that's being taken over by a disease that includes a lot of, like, maggot, flesh-eating stuff. And the main character is a gravedigger.
I'm also out on maggots. Anything with maggots is an automatic ick for me.
Yeah, the maggots felt unnecessary, but they were there. And then she ends up kind of getting into it with this guy who is described as being hot looking. But then for some reason, they decide that he's actually going to take his death form. And he's literally a skeleton while he's having sex with her. And just to go down on how this was explained, and this is after a few normal hot sex scenes. So I did not know that this was coming. So did he not have
a velvety cock then?
I'm going to explain, don't worry. So like when he takes his form, she's like, the white arcs of his ribs, an ivory cage entirely exposed to the night air. There's no skin to hide the mechanics of him, only the raw biological reality. Gray, fibrous muscles weave between the slats of bone, anchoring the skeleton to the man,
Oh,
pulling
no. So
taut
he's not
and
just a
quivering
skeleton.
with
He's like a
every ragged breath.
partially decomposed body.
The god of death. So
Okay.
he's entirely man where it matters, and ...
Oh.
proportionate to his height.
Which is very large.
His cock is massive, thick and heavy, a pale, veined length that strains upward from a nest of dark hair. It pulses
Oh.
as the cold air hits it, twitching and hardening farther, yet so incredibly heavy that it fails to stand fully upright, resting instead on a thick, bobbing weight against his abdomen.
So he has an abdomen, too. Does he have a shredded six-pack?
I didn't get into the fact, like, is it lying on the ribs? I don't... How high are we talking? Yeah, he was muscular. And then also his eyes are black hollows that fixate on the face. She's like, I looked into his black hollows and I could see all the emotions he was feeling. And I felt like it was a really summer reading turn for me that I wasn't expecting.
That is dark for the summertime. I'm expecting this as more of like a Halloween smut read. So maybe around Halloween I'll pick it up.
Yeah, when he fingers
But
her, it's
unlikely.
described as like that one finger feels normal and fleshy and the other feels bony, like a skeleton, but the bony feeling was kind of nice. I just
Ribbed
was
for
like,
her pleasure?
who needed this? Like, who
But I'm also
wanted
having
this?
trouble picturing him because he's just, and this is where I think that like books have a lot more room to play, because if you tried to create this character, it would be a lot like, you know, Twilight tried to create the vampire sparkling, and there's no way that you can do that in a movie without it looking ridiculous. But maybe in a book, you're imagining it, and you're imagining it in a way that's really sexy. But I'm just picturing this skeleton guy, god guy, has like some fingers that are bony, some fingers that have flesh. Like he's got a big hairy dick with like
Why is
pubes
it
and
hairy?
stuff.
Why
But
did it have to
then
be hairy?
like
I
other
don't-
parts of his body, you can just like see his rib cage.
You can see his heart. Like, I don't know. And it is like a beautiful exploration of like that you need to have grief is okay because it means that you loved, and that like grief is part of life and it's part of loving, and that's okay. There was a really, really lovely exploration there, so I got where people were coming from. I just don't know why she's so good at writing sex scenes that I don't know why it had to be with the skeleton.
So if you would like a book that deals with mythology and god of death and the process of grief and things like that, may I recommend, it's not smutty at all, The Djinn Daughter by Rania Hanna.
But
I just feel like
I can take non-smutty, but is there a love
it's a
story?
non-smutty book. But I'm just like, I feel like either I want smut, but then it just needs to be in the context of something that's very fluffy, has no plot, is rom-com-y, or is just pornographic, but don't bother me by trying to have a plot or any kind of message. Or if you want to have a beautiful message about death and life and the circle of life and blah, 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 then write a beautiful book. And if sex is a part of it, that's totally fine. But I feel like if you're writing a smutty book, the sex is the central piece of it. And then don't waste my time with like plot development and characters, is my personal opinion.
How I've started to feel is that if I want true smut, I'm going to read like a little like Jessica Kane-style novella. And if I want a love story, that I'm going to read whatever book is highly rated over a 4 on Goodreads. And even if it ends up having a sex scene that's detailed, I sometimes skip past it because I'm like, you're not going to be Jessica Kane for me. And also, like, I weighted 80%, so it's not like I'm right now like in the mood. You know, just you can better control your timing with a novella.
Yeah, exactly. Because then it's like if I'm reading it for the sex scene. And so there's nothing like, oh, I'm just kind of reading this to get in the mood. And then you open it up and it's just some kind of plot development about why the person decided that they needed to have a, sex with their 50 years older boss or something like that. I will say, though, however, I was looking for some more novella kind of stuff to read, and I was like, is Jessica Kane actually a good author, or does she just have a lot of stuff? I'm actually coming to the conclusion that she is for the type of stuff that we're reading, because like you said, she does a very good job of, it has a plot, so it's not just actual porn where these two people are just fucking. It's not really critical for you to know why, but not too much of a plot because I don't actually care about these characters. The surprising thing is, though, you read the reviews on these books, people reviewing these books are like, Oh my goodness, this is a beautiful love story. Like, this
No, they're
girl
not
finds her
beautiful love
happy ever
stories.
after.
They're not beautiful love stories. They're just sexy. They're like a porn video. Like, if anything, we
Um,
really don't need the epilogue scenes from her. She can really cut them.
oh yeah, because there's always an epilogue in which the like 18-year-old and the 50-year-old guy have gotten married,
Yeah,
and
I
then
did
they're
not
like
need to
running
know what
around with
like
their 2 kids,
grandpa
and
and
then
her
he's
were
like,
doing.
"Babe,
Yeah.
I still want to fuck you," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you're like
Yeah, I
65
just
now.
needed
I
a
don't
sex
know."
scene. Yeah.
Let's see. Jessica Kane always, this is a review. Jessica Kane always stands out for the sheer depth they pack into their characters, dialogue, dynamics, and more. Billy and Knox are self-aware. This is from Debt Ridden, which I know you have read, Kay. Billy and Knox are self-aware, but true to their perspectives and life experiences. Both also brave in their own ways and accepting this new reality they're creating by interacting. How well this is written is its own social commentary on how real life age gap romances are, as well as Jessica Kane's whip quick reality checks with which many women can empathize. Enjoy. I'm like,
Yeah,
there's so
that's
many
not the
reviews like that where they're
case.
just like, oh my gosh, this is like such a beautiful romance. Like, I too am waiting for my happily ever after. And I'm like, I'm a little concerned if you're reading this as
Yeah, you
a
do not.
guide for
Yeah, these situations
finding
aren't
your
going to
true.
happen. If they do happen, like, call the police. They're not good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just like, these are like very amusing in their own way. But, oh, see, this reviewer said loved the epilogue. They loved the attraction and curiosity leading to their own kind of lust, but there was so much more than that. Yeah.
So much
So
more than that. No, I just
the
needed the sex scenes.
reviewers, I have more questions about. I think that Jessica Kane knows what she's doing. In the vein of, I was trying to figure out, is Jessica Kane actually a good author, or, is this just one that we happen to come across? I was like, I will click on a related read, but is by somebody other than Jessica Kane. So I came across Stepbrother's Obsession by Jenna Rose, which was very much in the vein of Jessica Kane. So this is about Lily and Colt. They are stepbrother and stepsister. Um, very much porn setup. I actually liked the fact that they had just met. I like something that's a little bit off limits romance, but like if they had actually lived together, I'm like, I'm sorry, you're brother and sister. But it was like they just met, their parents are engaged, they're not yet married, and they're going to go on a honeymoon or something. And she's 18 and he's 28, which again, I'm like, all right, that's half of your age plus 7, like almost. Anyway, that's close enough. Like, this is not a weird age gap romance to me or problematic, especially with her being so young. But I felt like compared to the Jessica Kane ones I read, it was less silly and it was more like trying to actually be a romance novel. It was too long, so it had a bunch of stuff that I skipped that was just actual plot development and conversations with her, between her and the parents. There's like a lake house, and Colt, the 28-year-old who fixes motorcycles for a living, is also living there while they're leaving Lily out there while they go on their 3-week-long cruise. But I'm not sure that Colt's actually a functioning adult, because the parents are leaving and they're like, oh, well, here's all the instructions for the house and here's a credit card for food. And I'm like, I don't think Colt's actually 28. So this is even less of an age gap romance, because he's like living at his dad's house and needs a credit card to go buy groceries for some reason.
Yeah, and if it is an age gap, is not an age gap in the way that they're supposed to work, where like the whole reason why the older guy is sexy is that he is like independent and taking care of himself and all those things.
Precisely. Colt does not seem very independent. He does briefly leave at one point after the parents get home early from their vacation. And then, like, it's very hard to keep a secret their growing love for one another. And he's like, oh, I should be a man and just leave. But he doesn't have anywhere else to go. So it's not like he's just temporarily staying at the lake house, because then he just goes and like crashes in his truck at a truck stop for a few days, weeks or something. So it's like, I don't think that he has any money. And he gives her an old washer from his oldest motorcycle as a token of his love to wear around his neck. And that's how the mom catches on, because she sees a rusty washer around Lily's neck. And the mom's like, oh,
yuck.
I know who would give you a washer. And I'm like, again, this is all very high school, which, like, if Colt were also supposed to be 18, like, it'd be kind of a cute story. But I'm just very confused that Jenna had to shove a lot of the tropes in there to, like, try to be like the books that are more successful. And I was like, you could have just made them both young and horny, and that would have been fine. Yeah.
But
So
also, don't put a rusty washer around your neck. Like, can it
yeah,
be
I was like,
something
this girl should
nicer?
have higher standards than that. And again, like with the whole, it of course had like breeder kink stuff in it. I don't know why they always feel like they have to. And again, if this guy's like 50, if it's like the Jessica Kane one where he like owns all the ranches in town, I could actually see that being a somewhat strategic decision on the part of the 18-year-old to be like, I'll get knocked up by this guy and then he will have to provide for me. I mean, you're in a small town. There's not a lot of options. But in this case, it's like, he's a 28-year-old who fixes motorcycles who lives with his dad, and he's just like, I want to put a baby in you. And she's like, great idea. Don't use protection.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll put it on the parents' credit card.
Yes.
We can still be on dad's insurance because I'm under 26.
Oh, in the epilogue of the book, it has a very Jessica Kane-esque epilogue. And we find out that Colt now works private security as his full-time job and fixes bikes on the side so that she can take care of the house, be a mom. And she recently started to learn how to paint, which I felt like was very Feyre, that I was picturing her painting like little stick people chalk drawings. And then very awkward words. This is a quote from the book. His hot, sticky cum pulls inside me, warming my belly. I heard the girls at school call it baby batter, and I sure hope they're right. I want my stomach to grow the curve of my flesh representing our future together. Ew.
Oh my gosh.
Don't say
that
baby
is
batter.
so
Automatic ick.
disgusting. Please never call it baby batter. And also, you can't feel it, so that's just a lie.
Oh, there definitely was one in this where I wanted to share with her some of the research that we had read because she is at one point very pleasured by the fact that she can feel he has so much baby batter shooting out of him that she can feel it like geysering through her body and like I guess straight into her ovaries and past her cervix and things like that. So yeah, I wanted to present with her some research about most women cannot even feel somebody touching the inside of their vagina with a Q-tip.
Okay, well, thank you. Now I know that because I see Jenna Rose sometimes, and now I know just remain strong with my Jessica Kane.
Yeah, I think that you found the right place. So in conclusion, I felt like this was even more so. I mean, like, at least Jessica Kane is like, it's hot if you don't think too hard about the details and never in real life. But apparently the reviewers and I disagree on this. But this one in particular was annoying me with how much it was focused on the male pleasure aspect of it. And because the chapters alternate between his perspective and her perspective, which is pretty typical. But it has a lot of talk about like his balls filling up with jizz. And he says, I'll have more for you soon, baby. I can feel my balls filling up again already. The thought warms my heart and my body tingles all over. Oh, I guess her heart is warmed by the thought of his balls filling up with cum. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like anything that any woman has ever gotten excited about.
It's also nothing I've ever heard a guy say before. Like, what?
Yeah, I need to pause and ask a male opinion on if you feel your balls filling back up with cum, if that's how that works. Okay, thank you, listeners. After a quick break, we consulted a male consultation panel of one and asked if men indeed do feel just a trickle of semen just refilling their balls with fresh essence after, they have ejaculated and they're getting horny again. And the answer was no. Obviously, like a larger sample size is needed to really conduct research. But our listener pointed out that there is just like a finite amount of jizz in the male body in a certain, number of hours period. So it's not like you just like have an endless reserve that just keeps trickling in there. And it's like after the first time, you're working with a little bit less. So yeah, questions about that. But anyway, my general issue is just with how much focus there was on the male balls and jizz and things. And there's like one where she's like, oh, will you come in my mouth? Like, I can't wait to like, she wants to taste his cum. She says, it's so warm and sticky. I want to feel it going down my throat. And so she was a virgin like
That's so
2 days ago.
I don't even like. I'm not anti-swallower. This is a disturbing description.
Right, yeah, I know. But I'm also just like, I mean, this is generally across these things. Like every time that they depict the female main character as a virgin, like the amount of time that she goes from being a total virgin to she's never had a guy come in her mouth and she's just like, you know what sounds good? Like, I could see her being open-minded to it. I could see, like, there are, of course, like, women that totally get into that. But I'm just like, this is her second time having sex. And she's like, you know what sounds good? Drinking your cum. I have questions.
The warm stickiness. Everybody likes sticky things going down their throat.
Yeah. Ugh.
Ugh.
And it's
Yeah,
like
only
salty.
honey.
I don't know. Like, what about even if you had like seen cum and you hadn't tasted it? Like, what about the way that it looks would you be like, you know what I want is that, but to drink?
So no Jenna Rose. No, I'm sorry, Jenna. I'm pretty open-minded, but this just sounds like too many no's for me. You can't have a 28-year-old guy who's getting his parents' credit card and wants to knock you up.
For getting groceries. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't
That's not
impressed.
how the age gap reader kink works. That's just not how it works.
I will briefly say I haven't finished this book. I don't know that I will, but I don't know if you've experienced this, Kay. I do sometimes prefer women or like girl on girl porn. And I think just because it's focused on female pleasure, because I typically like it where both of the girls are feminine. So anyway, but I was like, maybe I should try that in the book form as well, that if it were like some girl on girl stuff, because I was just finding myself very frustrated with Jenna Rose. And I came across a whole bunch of stuff. One of them was a stepsister obsession book. And I was like, well, for scientific comparison purposes, I should read the girl on girl version of what I was just reading for comparative purposes. And one thing I discovered is I'm actually kind of vanilla and I am definitely straight. So when it's actually written like lesbian books for lesbians and there's at least like one or both of them are kind of more butch, I'm like not into the butch one at all. Because again, I think it's just straight women who like girl on girl stuff are kind of doing it because they're picturing themselves on like both sides of the equation. Also, these books were way too long. So this one's called Don't Leave Me by Eden Emery. And it's part of like a whole series, but it's a dark gangster where there's a person who owns a sex club that's like a BDSM thing. So there's like way too much plot in it. And this was the second book in the series. And she's like the cybersecurity person for a woman named Axe who runs the sex club. And there's just like all these scenes about how she's like going to court. I don't know. I'm like, I got like 35% of the way into the book before you get to like anything between the girl and her stepsister. And then in this one, they become stepsisters. The younger one is 6 and the older one, it's not clear, but she is at least 2 years older. I think she's about 2 years older, but they're like 6 and 8 when they become stepsisters. So I'm like, that's kind of like, they're like, oh, I never saw her as my sister. Like she was always just a friend. And I'm like, yeah, but you were like kind of raised for an important formative period of your life together. So that feels a little bit weird to me. So yeah, there was just way too much other stuff stuffed into this book. And it was also very long and had a lot of plot, but the plot wasn't that good because I was just like, it was sort of like the gangster Christmas one that I read that I'm like, I don't think it's sexy when there's a book about people doing crime and they're just like, oh, this man double-crossed me, so I killed him. And I'm like, well, maybe we should explore that a little bit more.
Well, this is a nice segue to the other book that I want to talk about, my summer reading gone wrong, which
Perfect,
is
because I didn't finish this book, so I can't talk about it anymore.
So When We Lied by Claire Contreras is like the Sharknado of contemporary romance. It was like anything that she thought
sold.
that she could
Tell me no
throw
more.
in
I'm
there.
sold.
Yeah, so Phineas Alexander Barlow is our main like leading male character. I mean, he's not like the leading the female is obviously the leading. But so he is a billionaire heir. He is also a part sex club owner. And then here's like the real kicker. He's also an NHL player. Like, why? Like, the NHL has no bearing on this.
Right. If he's a billionaire heir, I could totally see the being a part sex club owner because like a friend of mine dated a guy who was like an heir to a particularly known family fortune or one of the heirs. And he did have like a lot of like businesses that he invested in that was like his side thing.
I was fine with that part.
Totally makes sense. But the NHL does not let you in because your dad is rich. Like I don't know a lot about the NHL, but I do know that.
I thought that the billionaire and part sex club owner thing, I thought that was fine. I thought the NHL player thing was like strictly so that the author could put a hockey player on her book cover. That was like
They're like, and also heated rivalry sells really well. And maybe he's a vampire too. He's definitely a vampire.
That's how it felt. It's like, we're going to get this book to show up in any single woman contemporary romance reader's searches. Like, we're just going to figure this out. And then the girl is a college basketball player, but it's really unclear. Like, she definitely plays for a college team, but she also has her own apartment, is like an influencer with her own paychecks, and seems to like basically be an adult just on a college basketball team. That's never really referenced too much. I mean, she like plays basketball.
Also, how is she having enough spare time for whatever the plot is that's about to ensue in this book? Because college basketball players do not have copious amounts of spare time.
They definitely had enough time to like be at the sex club multiple times, even though neither of them were pro the sex club, but the sex club was just used as a device whenever they needed it to.
Like, people and also then, like Googling sex club as a search term.
I was not anti the sex club scenes, I'll say that. But then also, because that wasn't enough, his sister has some mysterious death that might be related to the girl, that might be related to the sex club, that might be related to the girl's dad.
That sounds like the Hot Santa gangster book that I read.
What's happening here? Why did you put all of this in here? You could have at least cut like the sports out or like the mystery death. I'm not sure. Like, it had some hot sex scenes and it had some intriguing plot elements, but why is this all in one book? Like, I can't process. So, did
That's beautiful.
Like lose sleep and finish it? Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, will I be reading it after that description? Absolutely.
I think the first chapter on, I was like, wait, what's happening here? They're putting everything in. So that was something. There's also like even the trigger warnings at the first page of the book. They're like, there's a hostage situation here. There's a gun wounds. There's this. I'm like, how is all of this in this
But is
book?
there a hot Santa in that book? And by a hot Santa, I mean a man who wears a Santa costume in one scene.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't have minded a hot Santa scene. What there is that she randomly wears a Catwoman suit, not to dress up as Catwoman. She just wears like a very tight, like all-in suit when she's going to try to like trick a secret sex club into thinking that she's actually interested in being a member, but she's actually just trying to like find out more about one of their members who she thinks might have been involved in the death. Like, and this is in between like her basketball and influencer career. Yeah, and there's a scene where she's supposed to do an interview naked, but instead she just unzips the Catwoman outfit all the way, and that suffices. It's very.
Is there a coach of this basketball team? Like, is the coach aware of
the coaches and the teams are very, very minor plot elements. Like, I have no idea why they're also both athletes.
She's actually a club. She plays intramural club basketball.
She is too short to actually be easily recognized as being a good basketball player, but she blows them all away with her skills. I was like,
I was going to ask because
you didn't even want to commit to making her tall.
Well, it's a key thing in all these books that the woman is very like tiny and can be enfolded in the giant male embrace.
They wanted to make sure that while adding in, they wanted her to be a basketball player, but nor did they want to like upset any readers by making her a tall woman.
I know, but I'm just like, why don't you pick a sport like field hockey or something where players can be like small size and still be of,
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to draw on like Caitlin Clark. It made no.
They're just like, what is popular right now? Like, it does just really sound like she was just like Googling the top trends in, that she's like reading some kind of analytics and what the top trends are right now in romance books. And she's like, fuck it, I'm going to do them all.
I don't even know if it had to be anything besides like a crime intrigue book, because she definitely like built like that part of the plot fine. But anyways, I don't even know if I was turned on during that book. I might have been turned on.
You were too distracted by everything that was going on.
They have like a hookup scene in the sex club, which she goes to with her boyfriend at the time, but then the boyfriend wears a bracelet that says he's into threesomes, and she's like, okay, I guess anything goes in the sex club. And then she goes into a room with this other, hockey player, billionaire, part sex club owner, and while she's giving him a blowjob, he turns off like the fog window so that her like boyfriend can see him like getting blown. Yeah. That was I don't know.
That seems like kind of violating without her consent,
There was a lot of violating things happening.
I guess this is why you just have to read the trigger warnings in these books.
I read them and I was like, well, now I'm fascinated. So, anyways, summer reading hasn't been normal, but Tessa Bailey has a fun sports series out. The only thing is that, like, I end up, it's like the first 25% is good and last 25% is good, but like the middle 50%, it's like, I don't need this like long plot about these two people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel like. I just want to, read something that is like nominated for some kind of literature prize. Or I just
short and hot,
want
yeah,
some porn that I'm going to open it up and there's going to be a sex scene within 4 pages.
Yeah. So that is my summer reading. So to wrap up, it sounds like you have some things to share and talk about, SJ.
Well, I would say Mr. SJ has some things to share, and that is a complaint that when I asked him for a list of his icks, it did take a moment for him to open up because at first he was like, "Oh, I'm not going there. Like this can only cause trouble." So I get him to name his icks for me, and there were actually more than what I said in the episode, and because he actually sent me a list of like 5 or 6 of them, and I think I only gave a couple. And he is angry that I didn't read the whole list. So he said that he would like me to cover that in the errors and omissions section, that there were other icks. And I would like to comment that I am not going to share them because to me they seemed more like pet peeves. And if we were going to start naming pet peeves about our partners, I certainly have plenty of those. And also some of this was edited for length and how interesting I thought this would be to people who don't want to listen to petty marital drama.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. SJ. Like the toilet paper, that was an ick. But me leaving things on the edge of my counters.
The pajamas, that's legitimately an ick. And that's why I named that one. And I said, even me behaving like my dad at the airport, I can see how that's ick. But things that are just like, oh, this person like leaves their laundry on the floor or something like that, that's not ick. Maybe
it's not going to affect your sex life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to. I mean, I would like to test this out. Like, I feel like I could, whatever his other icks were, if I like threw a huge pile of dirty laundry on the floor and then was like, do me on top of this laundry, he would absolutely say yes. So therefore, not the ick. Sorry, Mr. SJ, I'm not going to read them out on the air. Please don't divorce me over this.
Divorce is very time consuming and you have to get a lawyer and all that.
Yeah.
That's what I always think. I'm like, who has the energy?
Who has the time? When we could be reading really terribly written books.
Yeah, I got things to do. And one of them
now I turned over to book recommendations after I was looking at the Jessica Kane reviews, included such things as The Wedding People, great book, and First Time Fever, a spicy double first-time age gap big daddy romance, parentheses, worth the wait.
Well, that's completely different than The Wedding People.
Yeah, Amazon's just throwing all kinds of things to my algorithm. It's a double first time. I kind of want to read this because he's also been holding his V card for the one. And the day he unlocks a forgotten basement dungeon and finds the most beautiful woman alive chained inside, every cell in his oversized body knows. Oh,
what
no.
The F? Okay.
You know you're going to read this, Kay. The Worth the Wait collection is all virgins, love at first sight, and shameless, indulgent fantasy. Each book stands alone, but couples carry over, fall hard, fall fast, skip straight to the sticky bits. If you want to disappear into a happily ever after with no cheating and an obsessed big daddy alpha who will burn down the world for his girl, step inside. It's steamy in here. Sounds like you'll be reading it just for research purposes, right, Kay?
I don't know. The change in the dungeon thing might be a little tough for me.
I think she was chained there by her family because they're wealthy. It's unclear. I think you have to read the book and inform me why she's chained in the basement and why he's so hulking and beautiful, but has decided to remain a virgin against all temptation. So this is by Danny Wyatt, and it's called First Time Fever. So join us in our next episode when Kay can't help herself but to read this book and provide a review.
Well, it'll hopefully take me like 30 minutes. So,
all right,
there is that.
Dropping tomorrow, another episode.
Thank you for joining us for our summer reading episode. I hope that you don't read any of the books I suggested. No, just kidding. I honestly, Crown Me Dead is actually beautiful. Just maybe skip through the actual sex scene with the skeleton. Unless you're into that, which, I don't know, a little bit of judgment.